Good afternoon, and
Good afternoon.
thank you so much for coming. To our Honorable Mayor, Chief Roach, I see Commander Spurgeon is here. On behalf of Flaherty Collins and Amber Woods, Steve Talley, we welcome you to our community and to this honorable event that you're hosting here today. We are so delighted to be able to host for you, Mr. Mayor, this event, and thank you all for coming out.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it very much. This afternoon, I want to welcome you to the 35th National Night Out. We're here to celebrate and honor those who've gone above and beyond in their communities to keep us and their neighbors safe. This event unites residents, law enforcement, civic groups, businesses, members of the faith community, and neighborhood organizations from over 11,000 communities across the United States. You know, and that's especially, we're especially fortunate here in Indianapolis that we have those groups as well as the philanthropic organizations helping us do the things that we do to keep ourselves and our neighbors safe. I don't speak for the chief or of IMPD or the mayor, but I'm confident in saying that the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department is exceptionally grateful for the consistent support and partnership with all the communities across Indianapolis. With our Crime Watch groups, we've established a working relationship between the community and the police, in turn preventing and solving crimes more effectively. But before we announce our Crime Fighters of the Year for each district, I would like to introduce our first speaker for this part of the program, Mayor Joe Hollister. Yes, Joe.
Thank you, Steve. Very nice of you. Thank you, my friend. Well, good afternoon. It's indeed an honor to be with you. We do have a full program, but I do want to thank Amber Woods for having us out today. You know, as I look out among this crowd, Chief, this is what I call beat policing right here. A community coming together with law enforcement professionals and community leaders and community representatives to help better protect the safety and the welfare of the people of our city and to keep our streets safe and peaceful. I also want to thank the Marion County Prosecutor, Terry Curry, who you're going to be hearing from in a moment, as well as our police chief, who you'll also be hearing from. I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge two very special people in my life. One who I call a colleague and who I serve with, City County Councilor Lakeisha Jackson. Thank you, Lakeisha, for your steadfast support of National Night Out and your work on the council. And I also want to recognize the United States Attorney, Josh Winkler, who's with us today. Let's give our United States Attorney a round of applause. So there are a lot of aspects about being mayor that aren't really all that fun. Truly. But there is one thing that's particularly fun and, frankly, memorable, and that is the ability to issue proclamations. Now, some people see proclamations as just kind of pieces of paper, maybe on cardboard. But what proclamations actually are is a history of the important people, places, and things that occur in our city's history. So when a proclamation is issued, it tells the story in its own way of the history of Indianapolis. And so I bring with me today a proclamation, and I'd like to read it to you very, very briefly, and then we'll get on with the program. Right, Mr. Trustee?
Right.
National Night Out is an opportunity for the city of Indianapolis to join forces with thousands of communities. You know, this isn't just our deal. It's a national night out to promote crime prevention and drug prevention efforts. The event aims to build new connections between residents, strengthening community policing partnerships, while sending a message that our neighborhoods are fighting back against crime. It is essential that all Indianapolis citizens be aware of the importance of crime prevention programs and the impact that their participation can have toward reducing crime, reducing drug distribution and its use, and overall violence in our community. Officers put their lives on the line every single day for our safety, and we are grateful for their dedicated service. So tonight, the city of Indianapolis encourages all neighborhoods to get involved with crime prevention programs in their area. And before I make the declaration, can we give, will every member of the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department, if you're not already standing, and some of you are, please stand and let's give them a great round of applause. We are grateful to them, are we not? We are. So, as mayor of our city, I do hereby proclaim August 7, 2018 as National Night Out Against Crime Day in the city of Indianapolis. Congratulations. Take my notes with me.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Next, we'll have our Marion County Prosecutor, Terry Curry, who is committed to serving the people of Marion County through his extensive experience, and he's been able to provide leadership and inspiration to citizens who he feels deserve it no less. Please welcome Prosecutor Terry Curry.
Does extensive experience mean old?
In my case only, sir.
Welcome to National Night Out. Sort of picking up on exactly the same thing that the mayor mentioned. In our office, this is one of our favorite days of the year. We look forward to it for months. Annie Kern, our outreach coordinator, starts anguishing about 3 months out over which National Night Out events we're going to visit tonight. And it is just a wonderful event to get out in the community to do the presentations here. But in addition, for me, it's a reminder that there are a lot of good things happening in our community. I am certain that every single police officer here will say that their work can be pretty frustrating at times. Very, very frustrating. Likewise, our staff can tell you that picking up the criminal justice system at our end can be equally frustrating for any number of reasons and for reasons that you know. But to come out and celebrate this event and National Night Out, it's just a great reminder that there are a number of individuals, organizations who are our partners and are working toward the same goals that we're working toward, and that we will have success. So thanks for coming out this afternoon. Let's hope for some good weather tonight as we go out and make the rounds of National Night Out.
Our last speaker for this part of the program is utilizing, he believes that utilizing community policing in the districts of IMPD are the heart and soul of crime prevention. And he is committed to making Indianapolis a safer place to live and raise a family. Please welcome IMPD Chief Brian Rhodes.
Well, welcome. It's quite the sight to look out and see everybody here, and it gives us great hope as police officers about the ability that we have to work together and improve our city. It used to be when I came on the side of the police cars, you read protect and serve. That's not on there anymore. Maybe we should bring that back. But you know, now it just says police, and I think oftentimes we find ourselves, part of protecting and serving is policing, but oftentimes we find ourselves as police officers policing more than we are doing the prevention part. And protecting and serving prevention is a great part of that. So tonight is an opportunity for all of us to engage, to talk about issues. One of the other important things is this is the first National Night Out since, with the help of the City County Council and the Mayor, we have gone back to beat policing in April. So the instructions for the command staff was that those beat officers better be at their National Night Out in their beats. So all the commanders are here. So if you don't have an officer show up at, now there's hundreds of them, right? Well, we're going to do our best to make sure that you are introduced to your beat officer. And I think that will go, we'll take great steps in facilitating that interaction, and we want to continue to increase that. So congratulations, probably prematurely, for the crime fighters. We appreciate everything that you've done for us. Like the prosecutor said, this is a large effort from our district officers who go to all of the task force meetings, all of the block meetings, and engage you all, and this is an opportunity for more officers to engage you. So thank you, and appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's get started with the presentation of the awards to our crime fighters of the year. And first one that will be making that presentation is the Prosecutor Terry Curry and Community Outreach Director Community, Andy Kern.
Thank you, Steve. It is our privilege to award this year our Crime Fighter of the Year to Deandra Dykus. We are recognizing Deandra for her tireless advocacy to prevent gun violence. Deandra is here today with her husband Eric Dykus and her mother Kathy Knox. Deandra was impacted by a life-changing event within her own family. On February 1st, 2014, Deandra's life changed forever when she received a phone call that her 13-year-old son, Dre Knox, had been shot. Dre was shot in what is a horribly consistent pattern, doing something as innocent as attending a friend's birthday party. He sustained a gunshot to the head, and Dre is now nonverbal, in a wheelchair, and requires full-time care. Since that tragic event, Deandra has been an advocate for gun violence prevention in Indianapolis and throughout the nation. She has used her strength and resilience to console and inspire others affected by gun violence. She founded Purpose for My Pain, dedicated to assisting families in the aftermath of gun violence. Deandra can frequently be found at local hospitals, providing comfort and guidance to family members of a child who has been shot, which happens much, much too frequently in our community. She encourages community cooperation with law enforcement to address violence in our community. Deandra volunteers her time as a presenter for our Project Life program. Project Life is a court-ordered program for juveniles who have been adjudicated delinquent for a weapon-related offense by the Marion County Superior Court. Deandra facilitates a conversation with parents of those youth, providing resources and support with the goal of preventing future acts of violence and injury related to gun violence. She also promotes to the parents their role in community advocacy and cooperation with law enforcement. The almost 400 women and men in our office take pride in what we do and a lot of satisfaction in what we do. But there's a heartbreaking aspect to what we do, because every single day, every single week, we are talking with victims of violent crime or families of violent crime. People like Deborah Watson, whose son, DJ Keys, was murdered by 6 men in a recording studio. Tanya Injay, whose husband and father of her 8 children were killed in a convenience store out on the west side of Indianapolis. Joe and Spencer Moore, whose son, Officer Moore, was murdered in January 2011. And in meeting these survivors, I am always struck by the faith and strength of character and the ability to turn a tragedy into something positive and the resolve to do something for the community. And no one exemplifies that better than Deandra, and it's our honor to present you with the Crime Fighter of the Year Award.
Could you hold on for just a second until McGruff comes over?
One final advantage of being our Crime Fighter of the Year is this is Annie Kern. I'm sure every single person in the room knows Annie. Annie is our outreach coordinator, and every year she goes to great pains to put together a goodie bag for our winner of items from Circle City Sweets and various MCPO swag. So there you go.
Good job.
Thank you very much, Mr. Prosecutor. Next presenter is from the Community Engagement Officer, Officer Randy Diaz, with the Immigrant Outreach Unit in their Crime Fight of the Year. Officer, is there anyone from the Immigrant Office?
I'm here, but I'm not Randy Diaz.
Okay, no, you're not. Okay. Well, I apologize to you, sir, but that's the name that was given to me. I apologize to
Which
you.
program are you looking at? Because I'm giving you a hard time.
Hey, the programs say the same thing. Like you say, he's just giving me a hard time.
Officer Diaz, as a matter of fact, hurt himself throwing a football to some kids and threw his shoulder out, so he's off for a little while. Yeah. At any rate, crime fighting, as everybody knows, takes a lot of different shapes. We got McGruff over here. We got officers that actually will go into the libraries and teach, or read to kids. You've got offbeat officers that go to Crime Watch meetings just to hear people out. So this is our chance to point out the citizens that actually reach back and do that extra. It's with honor, Community Engagement Office Immigrant Outreach Unit presents Aweda Abdullahad as the Crime Fighter of the Year. She has dedicated her life to serving immigrant communities so all citizens receive equal opportunities to improve their quality of life. Since her initial involvement with IMPD, she has worked hard to improve relationships between officers and immigrants by being engaged in numerous outreach efforts. Ms. Abdullahad engages in discussions and activities to educate the community and IMPD. She serves as a natural helper to the Immigrant Welcome Center. Although Ms. Abdullahad has been diagnosed with cancer, she continues to assist Community Engagement Office's IMPD and Me program since its inception. She has assisted in youth cultural education at the JTV Hill Center by providing the following: cultural awareness, crime reduction efforts, quality of life strategies by reducing anxiety. Being a secondary spokesperson for IMPD, providing a voice through a different language to dozens of immigrants via conversations. Ms. Abdullahad directly communicates with IMPD and the immigrant community to find out needs and solutions by facilitating conversations, events, and discussion forums. Ms. Abdullahad has given her life and heart to make all communities safer. For these reasons, the and others, IMPD's Community Engagement Office, Immigrant Outreach Unit, please to recognize Ms. Hawait Abdul-Hab for her service to the immigrant community.
Oh, yes. Please, could the chief and the mayor join in that picture? Chief and the mayor. The next presenter will be Downtown District Commander Phil Burton. Could his entire team, Community Affairs Unit team, come up with him?
Since I'm probably older than 3/4, I'm gonna do this assisted. Home to famous Hoosiers, poet James Whitcomb Riley, Lockerbie Square was downtown district's first historic in the National Registry of Historic Places. This vibrant neighborhood with tree-lined cobblestone and brick streets, renovated houses. The neighborhood community has a very active neighborhood organization, population around 400 that make for great neighbors. Lockerbie Square is the oldest intact residential neighborhood in Indianapolis and is located on the northeast side of downtown Indianapolis at the intersection of East Street and New York Street. In addition to Lockerbie's neighborhood history and charm, the people that reside there truly what make up Lockerbie's neighborhood so desirable and a wonderful place for so many to call home. The residents that live there have a strong passion and desire to look after each other and truly emulate the meaning of community. Christy Norris plays a large role in this. Christy is the president of the Lockerbie's People's Club, which meet regularly every month. Christy and her husband, Jody, have resided in Lockerbie neighborhood for the past 18 years and have enjoyed watching the neighborhood grow. If you ask Christy Norris what her favorite part of living in Lockerbie is, she will tell you, "My favorite part of the community is the neighbors. They are tons of fun and genuinely care about our little slice of Indy. Whether it's hosting community parties, community picnics, cleanups, or any other social gatherings, you will always find Christy and the good people of Lockerbie working together." The statement also holds true as Christy Norris and her community neighbors are integral in assisting IMPD with arresting a suspect that was responsible for a rash of vehicle break-ins that occurred in their community. Christy took it upon herself and gathered video evidence and communicated regularly with Officer Evans, IMPD officers assigned to these cases until the suspect was apprehended and arrested. Her work wouldn't stop there either. Christy is always spreading the importance of safety and looking out for each other in the neighborhood. She has organized meetings in neighboring businesses and social service providers discussing safety and the importance of community partnership. The Lockerbie neighborhood is a very safe neighborhood with very minimal crime. This is largely due to Christy and the partnership she and the neighborhood has with IMPD. Christy leads by example and makes her neighbors safe and quality of life a priority. It is with these reasons and many others that Christy Norris is named the 2018 Downtown District Crime Fighter of the Year.
Mr. Mayor, Chief. Thank you very much. Our next presenter is Indianapolis Police Department East District Commander Roger Spurgeon. Could we get our Community Affairs Unit team to come up as well? Officer Franklin.
All right.
Right here behind me, Commander, please.
And while I start reading, if I could have Kartik Patel come up here, please. Great. Well, good afternoon. I'm very happy to, before I start my remarks specific to this, I'm happy that we on East District had the opportunity to host this year's event, and specifically partnering with Amber Woods Apartments and Lakeisha Jackson. So we're very pleased to be able to be here at this location today. Have you ever read the mission statement for the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department? It states, "We are dedicated to upholding the highest professional standards while serving the community in which we work and live. We are committed to the enforcement of laws to protect life and property, while also respecting individual rights, human dignity, and community values. We are committed to creating and maintaining active police-community partnerships and assisting citizens in identifying and solving problems to improve the quality of life in their neighborhoods." An addition could be, "We support unconventional and alternative approaches to crime fighting." Conducting police duties historically means enforcing laws enacted as a result of actions that were deemed so inappropriate as to threaten peaceful coexistence. What is often forgotten is that many times there may be alternative and more effective ways to solve problems, short of calling the police. Unconventional crime fighting methods could help achieve positive outcomes for the community. This is where our Crime Fighter of the Year comes in, with a variety of supportive ways in which he has assisted East District. For unconventional methods, policing must rely on different avenues and forward, out-of-the-box thinking to respond in a productive way so that citizens can feel they were truly helped. For example, an officer may decide to take a family or family member to a neutral place, such as a McDonald's, for a meal and conversation to get to the root of an issue to determine why officers have been called to their residence 88 times in a month. They use innovative thinking to try to more effectively solve the issue. This is where some members of our community, like our Crime Fighter of the Year, have provided assistance and saved East District many times. He has funded an initiative for just such occasions, as previously described, taking a family to a McDonald's to get to the root of a problem. He has donated money to the East District Community Relations Unit for our annual Community Day for many years. He has funded Juvenile Justice Jeopardy to inform juveniles about the consequences of their actions. And on occasion, when a real unconventional situation arises, such as a homeless family with a child sitting under a tree with no place to go, all it took was one phone call for him to provide a free room at his hotel. He has answered such calls many times because he believes in the community and in IMPD and in East District. For all of these reasons, it is my pleasure to name Mr. Kartik Patel as the 2018 East District Crime Fighter of the Year.
Could we kind of bring it there?
Got it?
Our next presenter is the commander from North District, Commander Parker, the crime fighter, and could his support team come up as well?
Thank you.
And your unit. will come with you.
Mike and Lindsay, hello. Come on up. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Miss Julie Dunn has been a resident of the Royal Pines neighborhood for more than 14 years and has held different positions in their neighborhood association. After having a criminal incident in the neighborhood, she took on the task of increasing communication among her Royal Pines neighbors. Ms. Dunn started working to establish a Crime Watch program in her community, and word spread quickly as she began getting requests to add other Crime Watch block captains, coordinators, and individual homes to her Crime Watch email list. That list has grown to over 100 households. Criminal and suspicious activity is consistently reported to law enforcement, and crime prevention Got it. Thank you. Criminal and suspicious activity is consistently reported to law enforcement, and crime prevention and safety information is continuously shared with the residents in her community. Ms. Dunn keeps Royal Pines Crime Watch active by maintaining an effective channel of communication for law enforcement to reach the residents of Royal Pines and vice versa, while engaging her neighbors in timely and proactive conversation regarding crime prevention, safety, and community building. With this in mind, Ms. Dunn has organized and coordinated different community events at Royal Pines, being especially proud of her, excuse me for this, Take a Bite Out of Crime Parade. Bear with me. Many of us know that Take a Bite Out of Crime is a slogan introduced by our friend McGruff the Crime Dog in the early 80s, but Ms. Dunn has added a different twist to it. In Royal Pines, their annual National Night Out parade around the neighborhood includes a 12.5-foot taxidermy alligator on wheels. It's an alligator on wheels. And it's quite a sight to see a 12.5-foot long alligator rolling on the streets of the neighborhood on Indy's North District. Miss Dunn's father owned a restaurant in Little Rock, Arkansas called Gators, and her alligator was hanging on the ceiling and was the pride and joy of the Little Rock community. Once her father retired, she proudly inherited the gator and talked her brother into putting it on wheels so she could bring it to our community and have it at events. In its time, it was known to be the largest gator caught in Alabama, and we are proud to have it as part of our Hoosier community on the north side of Indianapolis. The Take a Bite Out of Crime Parade has become an annual event at the Royal Pines community, and they enjoy sharing it with surrounding neighborhoods. Julie knows that events like this help to get to know the neighbors in an informal manner and build a stronger sense of community. She has also been involved in different community projects with Team Lux, a group of women raising money for the Susan G. Komen Foundation to find a cure for breast cancer, and with the Indiana State Society of Echocardiography, with St. Pius Catholic Church, and with Bishop Chatard High School of the Archdiocese of Indianapolis, North Deanery. Ms. Dunn has a bachelor's degree in business administration and an associate ultrasound technology degree, both from Butler University, and she currently works as a registered diagnostic cardiac sonographer at Riverview Hospital. It's a lot of technical jargon in this write-up, guys. She's a longtime season ticket holder at Butler University for basketball, and when she's not at Hinkle Fieldhouse rooting for the Bulldogs, she enjoys playing golf and being with her husband of 28 years and their 2 daughters. In her own words, you don't have to initiate a huge program to have an impact on your community and make it safer. Simply get to know your neighbors. Let them get to know you and look for opportunities to stay involved and engaged, and always report crime and suspicious activity to law enforcement. So it's with my pleasure that I present Julie with North District's Crime Fighter of the Year.
Here you are. Thank you very much. The next presenter will be Northwest District Commander.
Okay. The IMPD Northwest District is honored to have selected Melanie Grasty as the 2018 Northwest District Crime Fighter of the Year. Melanie resides in the Wood Creek neighborhood located in Pike Township since 2006. Melanie is employed as a house manager and holds 2 positions in the healthcare field. Melanie is a very giving and helping person and is always willing to lend a helping hand. Melanie and her significant other, Greg Rosen, collect blankets to distribute to the homeless community. Melanie and Greg distribute the blankets on Christmas Day, which they have been doing for the last 9 years. Melanie has been recognized for her homeless outreach efforts as a recipient of the Jefferson Award and Leadership Award and Hats Off Award. It is not surprising that Melanie has been selected for this award to add to her prestigious accomplishments. Melanie currently serves as her neighborhood's HOA board and director, along with the second position as a Crime Watch block captain. Melanie's unique way of bringing neighbors together makes her perfectly suited for both positions. Melanie's known for her pop-up parties in her community. Neighbors know one another by name in her community. Melanie has a tenacious attitude towards reporting suspicious activity or incidents that do not seem just quite right in her neighborhood. Melanie's not necessarily a nosy neighbor, but a concerned neighbor who takes pride in her community and inspires others to do the same. Melanie has invited IMPD Northwest District to participate in their Crime Watch meeting. During these meetings, she treats everyone to a full meal while listening to crime prevention tips. Melanie works closely with Crime Watch Specialist Kim Taylor for the Northwest District to keep her Crime Watch going and passes information along to others in her community. Melanie also attends the meetings at the Northwest District to gather information as well. One of the quotes from one of the residents of Melanie's community is, "I am so pleased that she is going to be awarded this year's Northwest District Crime Watch North District Crime Fighter. She is so deserving. My husband and I have lived in Wood Creek for 20 years, and our neighborhood's Crime Watch program has really taken off since Melanie became the captain. Melanie is a very personal, engaging person. She is well loved and respected by so many of us. She always takes an interest in those around her and will go above and beyond to help people out. Melanie is the glue which makes her community stick together and to combat crime. It is a pleasure to serve residents like Melanie, who wants nothing more but to make her community a better place. It is our pleasure, Northwest District, to announce Melanie as our Crime Fighter of the Year.
Our next presenter will be Southeast District Commander Hicks. Could your team, as well as your Crime Fighter of the Year, come up?
Sir?
All right, good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here with everybody this afternoon. First of all, I want to thank Detective Wayne Shelton and the co-chair for my Community Resource District Council, Debbie, for being here today. Appreciate you being here. Every year before we decide who we're going to choose as our recipient of this award, we ask for officer and community input, and both Debbie Conway and Detective Shelton had nominated Pastor Holland as our recipient this year. We already had him on our radar, but it was nice to get support like that. So the Crime Fighter of the Year Award recognizes a community volunteer for his or her outstanding service working with neighbors, city leaders, and the IMPD to better the lives of our citizens. I do not believe that there's anyone more deserving to receive this award than the person that we've chosen this year. It's my honor and great privilege to recognize Pastor Dr. Chris Holland as the Southeast District Crime Fighter of the Year. In 2017, Pastor Holland accepted the responsibility of chair for the newly formed Southeast Community Resource District Council, or CRDC. Working alongside 12 committed and impassioned citizens of Southeast District, this group has accomplished much. For example, under Pastor Holland's leadership, the CRDC has led an effort to establish e-commerce safety locations at all IMP district headquarters, so citizens now have safe locations for buying, selling, and trading items. Earlier this year, the CRDC, in partnership with Carson Heights and Bean Creek Neighborhood Associations, hosted a town hall meeting. The meeting was very well attended and served to open lines of communication between police, other city agencies, and community members. Opening these lines of communication is critical to crime fighting in Indianapolis. I am so thankful and appreciative of Pastor Holland and my CRDC for taking up that initiative. And another outstanding accomplishment led by Pastor Holland, this past June, 30 young men and women attended a week-long youth academy designed to develop character and leadership skills while targeting youth crime prevention. The first Aaron Allen Public Servant Youth Leadership Academy was a collaboration of the Father's House, the Central Indiana Police Foundation, the Southport Police Department, the IMPD, and Southeast Community Resource District Council. Pastor Holland's involvement in this planning, facilitating, and instructing of this academy was instrumental in its success. The academy motto, leadership and service to others, exemplifies both the way Lieutenant Allen lived his life and what the academy hopes to impart on our young people. Additionally, for the past 9 years, the Father's House has hosted an annual roll call as a way to thank officers for their work. This incredible event is a major undertaking and involves hours of planning, working with businesses, and coordinating the efforts of many volunteers who are enlisted to assist in the event. Officers not only enjoy a delicious catered meal, but most importantly, they feel the love, respect, fellowship, and appreciation from all those in attendance. Another successful project spearheaded by Pastor Holland in partnership with Detective Wayne Shelton, members of the Father's House, the FOP Lodge 86, the Indianapolis Police Foundation, and the Indianapolis Colts, has been outfitting officers with gunshot wound trauma kits. These kits cost $100 a piece, and over 1,700 of these kits have been distributed to IMPD officers and other local police officers. 1,700 kits have been distributed. And to say the least, they are life-saving kits. Within the first 24 hours of the kits being distributed, an IMPD officer used his kit to save the life of a 5-year-old who had been shot in a drive-by shooting. And 4 days later, another officer used a tourniquet from his kit to treat a fellow IMPD officer who had been shot in the upper leg. Again. Last fall, Pastor Holland hosted an active shooter training event at the Father's House. The CRAZE, Citizens Response to Active Shooter Events, is taught by IMPD Sergeant Dave Guard and Officer Jason Hayes. This course is designed to educate and provide people with strategies, guidance, and improvement plan for surviving active shooter incidents. Incredibly, a person who attended this training put what he learned to use on May 25th, 2018, when an active shooter event occurred at Noblesville West Middle School. Once again, Pastor Holland's insight and vision paid off in a tangible way. A life saved, or maybe many lives saved. As you can see, Pastor Holland's dedication, efforts, and accomplishments in helping and serving his neighbors, community, and law enforcement is extraordinary. His leadership, vision, and commitment towards improving lives around him is absolutely priceless. He's a true embodiment of the police-community partnership, and we are very fortunate to have him on our team. So please join me in recognizing and applauding Pastor Chris Holland as the Southeast District Crime Fighter of the Year.
Get pictures, please.
And if no one's told you today, I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
All right, Pastor.
All these other people.
Thank you very much. Here we are. The next Crime Fighter of the Year presenter will be the Southwest District Commander. Spears is not here, but you're going to take it.
You need my assistance?
No, I blew mine up before you got up here. Hello, everybody. Good news is I'm last, so we're getting close to the food. How are you? Okay. IMPD Southwest District would like to recognize Miss Debbie Parrish. With the Shelton Heights Crime Watch Group, Debbie has been a longtime resident of Shelton Heights, and the love of pride she has for her neighborhood shows through her continuous contribution to the engagement with the community. She has witnessed the neighborhood grow and change throughout the years, but her sense of community has never changed. In July of 2015, Debbie reached out to the Southwest District and wanted to know how to reduce crime in her neighborhood and how to get her neighbors involved. Debbie set up her first Crime Watch meeting, and she walked tirelessly through the neighborhood, passing out flyers to her neighbors and local businesses to inform them of their first meeting. Her hard work paid off, and they've held monthly meetings ever since. Debbie continues to grow knowledge in the area through her attendance at IMPD briefings and trainings and meetings, working with other services along with the city, county councilors, and state representatives. Debbie is dedicated to the partnership with IMPD and the continuance of Crime Watch for the Shelton Heights area. She diligently works to foster relationships with IMPD officers that work her area in the beat. She is committed to making Shelton Heights a safer place to live and to raise a family. She believes that a safe community takes everyone working together. She encourages all her neighbors to attend their monthly meetings and do what they can for their community. With the decline in crime, Shelton Heights residents are more involved in their neighborhood now. Debbie takes pride in her neighborhood and inspires others as well. In 2016, the Shelton Heights Crime Watch Group worked with the City of Indianapolis to demolish a mobile home park at 3836 Rockville Avenue after it was left abandoned by its owner. This abandoned trailer park was in disrepair, and because it was condemned and vacant, it was a prolific place for not only drug dealers and squatters, and the use of drugs and also prostitution would occur. And the way it was situated, there was no pass-through street in that particular area for patrol. In 2017, Debbie began working with the Indy Gateway to get the land donated for a pocket park. In September of 2017, Shelton Heights and Indy Gateway was awarded a Keep Indianapolis Beautiful Green Space grant. Debbie worked hard with KIB to develop a park plan. During and after the first phase of the plan, funds were needed to be purchased additional park equipment and construction to complete subsequent phases of the park. Debbie held several fundraisers to obtain the needed funds. The groundbreaking ceremony for Shelton Heights Park was held June 23rd. Susan Seals was a longtime resident of Shelton Heights, and in July of 2016, Susan became a homicide victim during a robbery at McClure's gas station on Rockville Road. One of Susan's passions was running the food bank at her church. Debbie made sure that the blessing box was in the plans for the park. A blessing box is a miniature food pantry filled with food available for those in need. The neighborhood agreed that their pantry will be called Susan's Little Pantry in honor of Susan, so they can carry on her passion and legacy for helping people. Shelton Heights Crime Watch holds one of the biggest National Night Out events. Keep that in mind, Chief, Staff, Mayor. At their event, Shelton Heights hosts a food drive for the Fleming Gardens Christian Church, and they pass out much needed supplies to kids in need for school. Debbie has accomplished many things in the last 3 years. Debbie has organized many of neighborhood cleanups and the park cleanup, created a Parents Done with Bullying website, arranged a supply school drive for the kids in the neighborhood, and coordinated a food drive to restore a nearby food pantry. She's accomplished this all a while with her 10-year-old son alongside, and obviously good citizens train good citizens, so she's teaching him how to give back to the community. For that dedication and continued efforts by Debbie to strengthen her community, Southwest District is proud to announce you as our winner of the Southwest Award.
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to thank the Marion County Sheriff's Department and McGruff for being here this evening. It's very nice. And IMPD extends our thanks and sincere appreciation to City County Councilor Lakeisha Jackson. Thank you for her support. She, along with Ms. Tessa Ward, and the awesome staff of Amber Woods Apartment. I mean, Ms. Ward put this together, and I think it's just Ms. Ward, why don't you stand up and so that we'll all know who you are. Okay. We thank you so very much. We thank you very, very much. And also, we want to extend our thanks to Terry Morris Downs of the Immigrant Welcome Center. Terry, why don't you stand as well? Thank you very much. And certainly our sponsors, Channel 16, and all those folks who support us down through the year. Just before the chaplain comes and gives benediction and bless the food. Counselor, why don't you come up and, I know we're a little bit behind schedule, but Counselor, I want to give you the opportunity.
Thank you for the opportunity. I won't keep you long. Thank you, Honorable Steve Talley, for helping coordinate this event. To our distinguished guests, my esteemed colleague, the mayor, who I'm supporting, and also to our other dignitaries, the chief, our prosecutor, and we have a U.S. Attorney General here, y'all. That is awesome today. To our men and women in blue, let's give them a round of applause. I too am presenting a proclamation because this is very important, but for the sake of time, I won't read it all. I do want to say a proclamation recognizing the kickoff of National Night Out Against Crime Activities and that Crime Fighters of the Year award ceremony hosted in District 14 with Lakeisha Jackson, IMPD, on August 7, 2018 at Amber Woods Apartments on the Far East Side. I also want to give you a little history that's in this proclamation. As the mayor said, history is important. It also tells and leaves our legacy. Whereas the first National Night Out involved approximately 2.5 million residents and 400 communities across 23 states, and in this 35th year, this year, this event is now being celebrated in all 50 states, United States territory, military bases worldwide, Canada, and anticipates more than 38 million residents taking part of this event. We should have a round of applause. And lastly, whereas this neighborhood kickoff is being held today, August 7th, along with our Mayor Joe Hogsett, IMPD's Chief Brian Roach, Representatives Prosecutor Terry Curry. Almost 115 officers have come through here today, so thank you very much. Our city departments, our county agencies and representatives, numerous residents and community partners. I love you, IMPD. Thank you for your community engagement, especially all throughout our city, but I have to give accolades to our East District where we're at. East District does it the best, and I had to thank you, Commander. Stand up, Commander. Commander Spurgeon.
East is the beast.
Well, we're having all the crime, so it's best to have it here to show what we're working on, the mayor's initiatives. Proposal 275 will be heard, which is a proposal to recognize gun violence and violent crimes as a public health danger here in Indianapolis. And so the city moving forward to be able to allocate funds and resources and direct and work in collaboration with Mayor Hogsett on his crime prevention and intervention initiatives. Thank you for your leadership in that, and we're working with you. I'd be remiss if I did not recognize Amber Woods Board. If any board members are here, please stand up. This is the place they call home. And this is the place they ensure that crime prevention activities and events happen because they believe in our residents and our community. We have State Representative Robin Shackelford. Just want to give you a shout. She's also on the board of directors. Please stand up.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you for coming today. And without our citizens, we can't do it. Leadership of the city is not enough alone. We don't have enough resources. Even if you gave us $200 million, it wouldn't be enough because it takes engaged communities, engaged citizens who see a need, who see cry out from our community, who come together to support and give back and help one another. And that's what this city is about. We're about helping one another and reducing our crime. Public health, public safety is number one for us here in the city. Would you agree, Mr. Mayor? Indeed. And so we want to make sure all our citizens are safe and that we all make sure that we come along with our law enforcement and make sure that we are embraced and moving the needle forward to reducing crime in our city. Thank you again for coming here to this event. Thank you again for Flaherty Collins, who manages this property. And again, Alma Slash, that's my mother, raise your hand. She helped put this event together. Thank you for hosting. Thank you for a wonderful event. God bless you.
Just a couple of other things. Let's honor our recipients of these awards and their families by allowing them to get in line and get their food first, please. Chief.
You would please bow with me. First, Father, we thank you for the food that has been prepared. We pray, God, that it would be used for the nourishment of our bodies, as your word is nourishment for our souls. But then we thank you for our mayor, our prosecutor, our attorney general, our police chief, those who have been entrusted with the safety of this city. For what they want is peace. We thank you for the honorees who have worked tirelessly, because what they want is peace. We pray for our communities, for what they want is peace. We pray for our officers and our civilians of IMPD, for what they work for is peace. And so, Father, we pray peace. We pray peace over our city, peace in our communities, peace in our homes, and peace in our hearts. In your name we pray. Amen.